Chapter 39 of the book of Exodus. And today I am going to finish the book of Exodus with these last two chapters. Here we go. Let's get it. Making the garments of the priesthood. Of the blue and purple and scarlet thread, they made garments of ministry for ministering to the holy place, and made the holy garments for Aaron as the Lord had commanded Moses. Verse 2, making the ephod. He made the ephod of gold and blue and purple and scarlet thread and of fine linen thread, and they beat the gold into the thin sheets and cut it into threads to work with it, with the blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen thread into artistic design. They made shoulder straps for it to couple it together. It was coupled together as its two edges, and the integrity woven band of the ephod that was on it was the same workmanship, woven of gold and blue and purple and scarlet thread and fine linen thread, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Verse 6, and they set onyx stones enclosed in settings of gold. They were engraved as signets are engraved with the names of the sons of Israel. He put them on the shoulders of the ephod, that they should be stones for a memorial for the sons of Israel, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Verse 8, making the breastplate. And he made the breastplate artistically woven like the workmanship of the ephod, of gold and blue and purple and scarlet thread and fine linen thread. They made the breastplate square by doubling it. A span was its length and a span its width when doubled. Verse 10, and they set in it 4 rows of stones, a row with a sardus, a topaz, and an emerald was the first row. The second row, a turquoise, a sapphire, a diamond. The third row now a jacinth, a agate, and a amethyst. Verse 13. The fourth row, a beryl, a onyx, and a jasper. They were enclosed in the settings of gold in their mountings. There were 12 stones according to the names of the sons of Israel, according to their names, engraved like a signet, each one with its own name, according to the 12 tribes. And they made chains for the breastplate at the end, like braided cords of pure gold. Verse 16, they also made 2 settings of gold and 2 gold rings, and put the 2 rings on the 2 ends of the breastplate. Verse 17, and they put the 2 braided chains of gold in the 2 rings on the end of the breastplate. The 2 ends of the 2 braided chains they fastened in the 2 settings, and put them on the shoulder straps of the ephod in the front. Verse 19, they made 2 rings of gold and put them on the 2 ends of the breastplate on the edge of it, which was on the inward side of the ephod. They made 2 other gold rings and put them on the 2 shoulder straps underneath the ephod towards its front, right at the seam above the intricately woven band of ephod. Verse 21, and they bound the breastplate by means of its rings to the rings of the ephod with a blue cord, so that it would be above the intricacies woven band of the ephod, and that the breastplate would not come loose from the ephod, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Verse 22, making the other priestly garments. He made the robe of the ephod of woven work, all of blue, and there was an opening in the middle of the robe like the opening in a coat of mail, with a woven binding all around the opening so that it would not tear. They made on the hem of the robe pomegranates of blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen thread. Verse 25, and they made bells of pure gold and put the bells between the pomegranates on the hem of the robe all around between the pomegranates. Verse 26, a bell and a pomegranate, a bell and a pomegranate, all around the hem of the robe, to minister as the Lord had commanded Moses. Verse 27, they made tunics artistically woven of fine linen for Aaron and his sons, a turban of fine linen, exquisite hats of fine linen, short trousers of fine linen. Verse 29, and a sash of fine linen and blue and purple and scarlet thread, woven as the Lord had commanded Moses. Verse 30, then they made the plate of the holy crown of pure gold, and wrote on it an inscription like the engraving of a signet, holiness to the Lord. Verse 31, and they tied to it a blue cord to fasten it above the turban as the Lord had commanded Moses. Verse 32, the work completed. Thus all the work of the tabernacle of the tent of meeting was finished, and the children of Israel did according all that Moses had commanded, so they did. And they brought the tabernacle to Moses, the tent and all its furnishings, its claps, its boards, its bars, its pillars, and its sockets, the covering of ram skins dried red, the covering of badger skins, and the veil of the covering. The ark of the testimony with its poles and mercy seat, the table, all its utensils, and the showbread, the pure lampstand with its lamps, the lamps set in order, all its utensils, and the oil for light, and the gold altar, the anointing oil, the sweet incense, the screen for the tabernacle door, the bronze altar, the gate of its bronze, its poles, and all its utensils, the laver with its base, the hangings of the court, its pillars, its sockets, the screen for the court gate, its cords, its pegs, all the utensils for the service of the tabernacle, for the tent of meeting, and the garments of the ministry to minister in the holy place, the holy garments for Aaron, the priest, and his sons, garments to minister as priests. Verse 42, according to all that the Lord had commanded Moses, so the children of Israel did all the work. Verse 43, then Moses looked over all the work, and indeed they had done it, as the Lord had commanded, just so they had done it. And Moses blessed them. End of chapter 39. Well, going back to the previous chapter, we read about the gold, silver, and bronze, and I can't honestly remember what all that means biblically. And then, of course, we see here, and we saw before too, the fine linens, the scarlet, the threads, and all that good stuff. And then we see the jewels. Again, I don't know exactly what all that means biblically, but I know it has a meaning. And again, we just read a lot of stuff here that's very, very hard to understand. Indeed. So now, let's finish the book of Exodus. We got one more chapter left, and then we go on to the third book of Moses, Leviticus. So let's get chapter 40. The tabernacle erected and arranged. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, on the first day of the first month you shall set up the tabernacle of the tent of meeting. You shall put in it the ark of the testimony, and partition off the ark with the veil. You shall bring in the table and arrange the things that are to be set in order on it. And you shall bring in the lampstand and the light and its lamps. You shall also set the altar of gold for the incense before the ark of the testimony, and put up the screen for the door of the tabernacle. And you shall set the altar of the burnt offerings before the door of the tabernacle of the tent of meetings. And you shall set the lavender between the tabernacle of meetings and the altar, and put water in it. Verse 8. You shall set up the court all around, and hang up the screen at the court gate. And you shall take the anointing oil, and anoint the tabernacle and all that is in it. You shall hallow it out and all its utensils, and it shall be holy. You shall anoint the altar of the burnt offerings and all its utensils, and sanctify the altar. The altar shall be most holy. And you shall anoint the lavender in its base, and sanctify it. Then you shall bring Aaron and his sons to the door of the tabernacle of meeting, and wash them with water. You shall put the holy garments on Aaron, and anoint him, and sanctify him, that he may minister to me as a priest. And you shall bring his sons, and clothe them with tunics. You shall anoint them as you anointed their father, that they may minister to me as priests. For their anointing shall surely be an everlasting priesthood throughout their generations. Thus Moses did, according to all that the Lord has commanded him, so he did. And it came to pass in the first months of the second year, on the first day of the month, that the tabernacle was raised up. So Moses raised up the tabernacle, fastened its sockets, and set up its boards, put in its bars, and raised up its pillars. And he spread out the tent covering of the tent and on top of it, and the Lord commanded, as the Lord commanded Moses. Verse 20. He took the testimony and put it into the ark, inserted the poles through the rings of the ark, and put the mercy seat on top of the ark. Verse 21, and he brought the ark into the tabernacle, hung up the veil of the covering, and partitioned off the ark of the testimony. The Lord had commanded Moses, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Verse 22, he put the table in the tabernacle of meeting on the north side of the tabernacle, outside the veil. And he set the bread in order upon it before the Lord, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He put the lampstand on the tabernacle of meeting, in the tabernacle of meeting, across from the table on the south side of the tabernacle. Verse 25, and he lit the lamps before the Lord, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He put the gold altar in the tabernacle and meeting in front of the veil. And he burned sweet incense on it, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Verse 28, he hung up the screen at the door of the tabernacle. And he put the altar of burnt offerings before the door of the tabernacle and the tent of the meeting, and offered upon it the burnt offerings and the grain offerings, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He set the lavender between the tabernacle of meetings and altar, and put water there for washing. And Moses, Aaron, and his sons washed their hands and their feet with water from it. Then they went into the tabernacle of meeting, and when they came near the altar, they washed as the Lord had commanded Moses. Verse 33. And he raised up the court all around the tabernacle and the altar, and hung up the screen of the court gate. So Moses finished the work. Verse 34, the cloud and the glory. Then the cloud covered the tabernacle of meeting, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. And Moses was not able to enter the tabernacle of meeting, because the cloud rested above it, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. When the cloud was taken up from above the tabernacle, the children of Israel went onward in all their journeys. But if the cloud was not taken up, they did not journey till the day that it was taken up. Verse 38, For the cloud of the Lord was above the tabernacle by day, and fire was over it by night, in the sight of all the house of Israel throughout all their journeys. End of chapter 40. Well, with the end of chapter 40, we see the tabernacle has been completed, the ark has been completed. So basically what this is a portable temple that the children of Israel would carry around with them where they could go to meet with the Lord. Now I believe, and I don't think we covered it in here, that the only person that would be able to go into the tabernacle to meet with the Lord was the high priest, and that would be Aaron. And that's why there's a veil covering it. And Aaron would go in there, and I believe it's only once a year. I'm a little foggy on that. Maybe that will come in the next book of Leviticus. I'll read about that. And this is just a portable temple. And eventually this would be taken to where the temple would be built on top of Mount Moriah by Solomon's temple. And supposedly the ark and the tabernacle were taken in there. And now they have been lost, apparently. But perhaps they're still there somewhere underneath where the Temple Mount is, in some cavern or something. Who knows for sure. But that's what this is. To my understanding, this is just a portable temple. And it's very interesting. They will carry this around in the next chapter, if I remember right. It's been a number of years since I've read the Old Testament. But we will continue on in our next video with the book of Leviticus. And I can't wait to get into that. And it looks like it's only going to be 27 chapters long. But there's still going to be a lot of pages there to read. So that's what we will start in our next video, the book of Leviticus. Hope you enjoyed this, and please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time in the book of Leviticus. Thanks for watching.